It starts with sorry, blooda. That's your foot in the door. One simple sorry. Spoken straight from the core. Okay, sorry, I'm adjusting my microphone settings a little bit and just checking the path to redemption. Because I messed with them earlier and something went wrong. Yeah, I think I'm good. Hello, hi, Helluva Boss. Yeah, Helluva Boss. Now, I have a sick cat. Oh, well, she's not sick anymore. She had her surgery, and now she's fine, except now she has, like, the surgery scar, and she's not supposed to lick it, and she's wearing, like, a little pajama thing that keeps her from licking it, but that makes it difficult for her to get around, so have to keep an eye on her, is the point. So, because I don't really edit these episodes, I don't wanna, maybe I'll have to sort of get up from my chair and go take care of my cat for a second, so there might be a break in the middle of it. You'll just have to deal with that, because again, this is my do whatever the fuck I want channel, not the put in effort channel. But yeah, Helluva Boss. Let's take a look at it. Let's have a see and look at what Cherub is, or Cherub, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Is this gonna be like, because the main cast are in IMP, which, like, they immediate murder professionals, they kill people, and then Cherub are gonna be like the angel agency that's like, oh, we save people. They have some fucking stupid, ridiculous, charming, heroic, erotic rescue unit bots. I don't know what the fuck. Is that gonna be it? Like that? Because that seems like the point of having like an acronym that is explicitly the opposite of what the acronym with the main character's thing is. If so, I expect battle animation, which, hey, that'll be fun. Oh yeah.
Howdy, I'm Cletus. Welcome to heaven. Guess you did something good to get here, and good people deserve to give loved ones special blessings.
Does it make you want to cry?
When your loved one has to die.
Does it hurt you through and through
When their faces turn in blue? Well, luckily for you,
There's something we can do.
we can help keep them alive?
so you can watch them thrive. Cause here at THG, RUB,
We'll save your honey bun from dying.
cause here at THG, RUB,
No, we never even ask a fee.
Because good people spread the love.
And we're here for all of us.
Do the paperwork for you.
and the heavy lifting too.
So sit right back and let us
Bless our soul for you. Oh, we are the THG,
That's one, B.
Right. Okay. So so they advertise to the same people, I guess, but to sinners they advertise in hell. Okay. I mean, huh. This is sort of where I'm thinking, like, in terms of how much overlap there really is with Has Been Hotel, in terms of the world building, because heaven looked much the same, I will say. Well, to a point. To a point it did. That looked similar, but one thing that's missing here, which is in Has Been Hotel, is all of the fucking eye imagery everywhere. Like, just, boy, because there was a lot of that in Has Been Hotel. And in Has Been Hotel in general has a lot of eye imagery, because that show has a bit of an obsession with seeing, being looked at, being observing. Rather than that here... And also, like, in Has Been Hotel, again, like, heaven is this sort of techno-utopia, essentially. Like, all just, like, modernist architecture and, like, sleek, clean lines and, like, all of that. This is drastically more Art Nouveau, I want to say. These buildings are fucked, man. Whoever does the architecture up here is a dipshit. But then we have, like, the gate with the eye a little bit further in, and then that over there looks like real heaven, as it were. So Cherub Town, or Cherub Town, is, I suppose, like a suburb? Some outskirts? Like not behind the pearly gates, but the gated community before the gated community? Something along those lines? Who knows? Probably there's some kind of design document internally that lays it all out. I'm just speculating based on what I'm seeing.
Well, howdy, I'm Cletus.
It's curious to... By the way, it's like, well, howdy, I'm Cletus. Like, why it's a southern accent specifically for this horrifying little awful monstrosity.
Welcome to heaven. Guess you did something good to get.
But yeah, so this is like specifically like a response or a riff on the Immediate Murder Professional song from the pilot, which, you know, that's cute. That's adorable. Also, furries. Hello. With the joke, once again, being that despite their sugary sweet heaven imagery here, they're still showing, like... like, yeah, oh yeah, they censor it. Yeah, sure, you censored the guy getting hit by the train. You show the dude being hanged by the neck until death.
We can help keep them alive, so you can watch them thrive.
Okay, so looking at character designs here. We got a human, we got a lamb of some kind? But also... a Pegasus. Hang on. Cats. So, it's my female cat, Artemis, who's had surgery because she ate a piece of rubber that she really wasn't supposed to eat, and that clogged up her intestine, and they had to get it out. That was fucking hell of a thing. And now she's wearing, like, post-surgery pajama thing, like a little suit that prevents her from getting to her wound. But her brother thinks that that suit is weird, and he likes to slap at it with his paw and annoy her. And that's a little shit. She needs to rest, right? She's not in the mood to play, so she's been growling at him a lot, and I have to keep him away from her. It's the fucking hell cats. Anyway, what was I saying? Right, sheep, lambs, goats, I guess. Something along those lines. It would make sense with lamb and sheep, right? Like in the sense of sort of, especially in the way that like what happens specifically in the bit where someone is being menaced by wolves.
Well, luckily for you,
There's something we can do.
we can help keep them alive, so you can watch them thrive. 'Cause here at THG-RUP, we'll save your honey.
Like here, right? Like, Cherub Boy comes down, saves her out of danger, and then this seems a lot like an explicit sacrificial lamb situation to me. Why is there a shark there? Right, like that's a sacrificial lamb, which is like one person, like, which is like sort of this thing of like taking upon you the sins of another, or the suffering of another, which is a very, like, that's a very sort of Christian thing, which, you know, fits the show. And specifically, also,
Or even ask a bee.
Because good people spread the love.
And we're here for all of us.
again, this poor guy. Surround yourself with people who will lift you up, so ditch your loser friends who you can't use. God. Well, that's grim. Again, this poor guy seems to be a little bit of the butt monkey of the group. Seems to be given like the shittier jobs.
And the heavy lifting too. So sit right back and let us bless our soul for you. Oh, we.
Because it's the thing of like these are very My Little Pony-esque sort of furry creature designs, right? Like very sort of in the vein of Lauren Faust, with like the huge eyes, those very highly stylized faces, and with the downturned mouth there and the one that's not downturned there. Like, I would say that means there's a difference there between sheep and goat, but which one is which? I couldn't tell ya. I assume this is more sheep because he has more of the fluff. And that one's a goat? Question mark? But no horns. But yeah, yes, but who knows? I don't know. I'm trying to parse their character designs. And then a little cherub baby, which, again, remembering my Christian lore shit, all of the backstory, all of this, you have to go on the wiki to find it. Cherubs are not technically angels, right? Like they're like messengers or something, and they are some of the creatures that in some versions of angel sort of knowledge, angel lore, and I don't know if this is like in the Torah or if that's actually explicitly part of like the Christian Bible. They are the ones who we represent them often as little babies with wings, right? But they are some of the ones that are like what you think about when you think about biblically accurate angel thing, right? Like with like they have the horrifying rings made of eyes or like whatever. I think, which I like because the Has-Been Hotel certainly has hinted at the idea of angels as these non-Euclidean sort of weird, almost cosmic horror creatures that put on a humanesque form to speak to humans, which again is a very sort of like not not theologically necessarily Christian idea, but a very, very pop culturally Christian idea. This idea of like the concept of the Metatron, for example, that was invented to explain how human beings could see God or communicate directly with God without dying or being destroyed. Because that was a thing in Christian theology that was sort of negotiated over a long time, is that at some points in the theology, it was relatively common for God to interact directly with mortals, and would sort of reassure them, be not afraid, you shall not die for having looked upon me. And then at later traditions, that was sort of revised and go, hey, when that happens, that's because Metatron. That's because it's an angel that is taking on the voice of God, so that they can interact with. Okay, hang on, baby boy. Okay, he pulled her out of her suit a little bit, so I'm gonna do some editing because there's gonna be a big break here. Okay. Right. I wanted to avoid editing work, but I guess there's no way fucking around. He presumably he pulled at her suit and like the little pajama thing she's wearing so much that it sort of got tangled over her arms, and she started growling and yowling. And I had to go and untangle her and get her out of the suit, which she was very happy about because she doesn't like being in the suit. And then I had to put the suit back on her, which she was not happy about at all. Poor little baby. Anyway, now he's in here in my office with me, where he can't fucking mess with her. And let's try this again. Sacrificial lamb, goats, cherubs, biblically accurate, whatever. I've lost my train of thought.
Nice one, B.
Give me another Mox. No, not feeling it. Next.
Oh.
Keep going.
I say, are you looking to get work making crazy contraptions and goofy gadgets? Well, call me at Wacky Wally Wackford's Wacky Idea Factory, where you make the things and I make the money.
Huh.
Wacky.
So fully a Looney Tunes sort of title card image here.
Wally Wackford's Wacky Idea Factory, where you make the things and I make the money. Please, I'm very desperate.
Bingo!
Woo! You're on a roll, sir.
I like that detail. That was very cute. Like that Luna's sleeping and she does the little waggle, waggle, waggle with her leg.
Woo! You're on a roll, sir.
Guys, do you feel that?
Okay, I don't necessarily think there needed to be a glass of water to do the Jurassic Park thing there.
Roll, sir.
Guys, do you feel that?
Oh shit, is that a hell shake?
That's possible.
All right. Don't panic, Moxie.
I'm not panicking because hellquakes don't happen.
Stop getting hysterical, fatty.
Do not be afraid. And please tell me you got that insurance thing.
Who are you and what do you want?
I am Loopty Goopty, dastardly inventor of all things loopy and loopish.
What? Okay. So. Okay. Boy, okay, this, where are we going with any of this? Gotta say, a little bit of a whiplash. Like, we start with the fucking cherubs, whatever, being introduced as, I guess, important enough to get their own animated song section. Then we get Crazy Inventor Guy, who Blitzo seems to fixate on. Then we get an earthquake, I guess, or this guy doing whatever. And now he's here! Okay!
Could've just used the door, dude. Doesn't need to be this whole thing.
I am eccentric and must therefore do eccentric shit. Ah, this old fuck reeks of the living world. Did you just die? Yes, moments ago, in fact, which is what brought me here.
Just saying.
Meow! Yeah, you can meow all you want. Little boy. Yeah, I know. Meow. He wants out. Well, he can't get out. So, Amazing Imp twins, Blitzo and Barbie? He has a twin sister? Huh. File that away for later. I find this inventor guy instantly incredibly fucking annoying, and I don't mean that in a charming way. I Oh boy, that okay. All right. I will see where you're going with this, but under some protest.
The front door would have gotten you here fine.
Shut up, dear furry! This is the man I'm gonna need you to kill! Not even a shit's length of time in hell and already plotting revenge. I can respect a man with that sort of passion. I'm Blitz, the O is silent. What O? Oh, thank you. Now what's the T, sis? The T?
Guys, help!
Yeah, why are we killing this guy? I mean, what did he do to you?
Housing!
He was my business partner! You see, I was not always an old man. My partner Lyle and I ran Lyle Loopty Robotics, a technological...
Very dramatic reenactment from earlier that day. Okay, this is... Oh, this is dipping... Hi, baby boy. Okay, now he's climbing on my shoulder. No. Oh, fuck. Okay. He wants to be on the desk. No, he doesn't want to be on the desk now. He wants to be behind my computer. Well, dipshit, you're not getting out. You're gonna annoy your sister. And you're gonna drag her out of her suit again, and I'll get growled at. So, you're staying here. Yeah, well, shut up. You can look at me all you want. Be cute and fuzzy and shit. But I am being a stern dad, and you are taking your punishment. Anyway, so this episode is so far... This is real deep in the lol so random, wacky, Newgrounds style of humor. Which, like, I'd been 12. I would have found very funny. I'm not so sure it charms me anymore. Yes, what is it? Hello. Yeah. Now he wants to cuddle. Or he's just trying to be charming, so I'll let him out. Yeah, well... Okay, maybe he'll just lay on my feet and stay there.
Empire. Earlier today, we were testing a new machine intended to stop or reverse the aging process. It could have saved all 3 trillionaires. Unfortunately, we neglected to test the machine on the poor, like we usually do. We were too sure of our own genius, but the machine was accidentally set forward. By the time we managed to get out, it was too late. At least for me. Now that evil son of a bitch is going to take over the empire we built together. Without me to share it with, he'll make all the goddamn money in the world and become the 4th trillionaire and get all the credit. Yeah, that's not really evil. It's evil towards me.
Oh boy. It's just the voice performance also. The voice actor is presumably giving the well, if you don't... Okay, my god, Jesus. He climbed up the back of my chair, and then once he was on the back of my chair, he couldn't really find his balance, and then he got upset, and then he clawed my shoulder a little bit, and then he jumped down off my chair. Yes, go lay down in the very uncomfortable box that you want. I have a box in my room, a little cardboard box with, like, a bunch of shit in it, like, this power strip and things, like, not plugged in or anything. And for some fucking reason, he has decided that is the most comfortable... There is a cat bed in here, but he wants to lay on top of, like, discarded tech junk in a box in my office. What was I saying? Sorry, this is just gonna be like that. I am kind of frazzled. Right, the voice performance, like the voice actor is giving the performance that they're being asked to give. Almost certainly, but still. Oh yes, I am a crazy inventor. Oh, yeah, like that. It's a little grating.
Everything is going dark.
Now get your crimson asses up above and send that heartless, no-good son of a bitch to hell where he belongs! You do know, Poopty. Loopty! Of course. If we do kill him, though, and he ends up down here, you will be stuck with him forever. Oh, trust me. I'm counting on it.
That's kinda hot!
Gee,
No, it's
I wonder
not.
Whose house this is?
And to your right is the home of famous inventor Lyle Lipton.
Ooh. Let's do it, gang!
Let's kill this rich guy.
And here you'll find 3 tacky stalkers about to attempt a murder. Things like this can happen to famous people all the time.
Wow, that machine really did a number on him.
Goodbye, my one true love. All the riches of the world can't fill the emptiness I'm feeling now that my shitty old body can't do anything of value.
Oh, fantastic. He's gonna do our job for us.
Should we go in there and tie it for him?
Ah, I see. So that's where the Cherubs come in.
Oh, Lord, I'm being haunted by ugly orphan children now.
Who the fuck are they?
Oh, no.
Sir, those are cherubs, Mr. Lyle.
I hate filthy, stinking orphan children.
We're here to convince you not to kill yourself, sir. To grant you a blessing on behalf of those in heaven benefited by your amazing technological advances.
Oh, hell no!
I agree, Blitz. Cause, ooh, okay, so we're diving a little bit into some Clash shit here. That this rich old piece of shit motherfucker gets blessings from heaven because people in heaven who've been benefited by his technology are sending them down to him. Hey, gee, I wonder what kind of wealth level those people were at that they could afford to buy his inventions, huh?
Don't.
Lyle Lipton, it is our humble opinion that you should continue the process to commit die.
I mean, what do you expect to do with all this money now you're old and gross?
Is that a serious question? He could help spread his wealth around with the people of the world and do so much good with it.
Or just gonna throw this up there. He could also just die and then we could take his money and spread, like, we don't need him to do that. He doesn't need to consent to people taking his money and doing good with it. Doesn't need him, like, not in the sense we don't have to kill him, actually. Like, he can be alive, that's fine. He can be alive. We can just take his money and do good with it. He doesn't need to be part of the equation at all. You're not getting out, baby boy.
And be so fulfilled.
No.
He could pay for new hospitals and schools.
Why won't you let me die?
Oh, sounds like you need help offing yourself there, buddy. Moxie, what do we got for this fella?
I have some assault weapons, crossbow, hunting bow, Tommy gun, old-fashioned shotgun, revolvers in 3 colors, chainsaws, katanas.
He's classier than that. There are still plenty of reasons to live, Mr. Lyle.
Yeah, right. Smells like he ain't been out of bed in months.
Life can be beautiful at any age.
Right, so this is basically the thing we're doing is the joke is the antagonists are trying to convince the old rich piece of shit to keep living and hoarding his money. I suppose, which, okay. You're not getting out, kitty cat. Like, you... Oh my god, hang on. Hi. Cats. He has been, like, to be fair, he's been quite beside himself while his sister was ill because she's his twin and his best playmate, and now she doesn't want to play with him, and he kind of seems a little put out by that. Okay, back to the thing.
And we'll show him.
Yeah! No! Look around, Lyle. God's gift of nature is a wonder to behold, regardless of age or wealth.
If you were to end your life, you'd be missing all of this.
Mm-hmm. You gonna buy that load of shit from a baby and the sheep it fucks?
That is so inappropriate.
Oh, kiss our ass, prude.
Anyway, take it from me, a fellow genius. Nature is no picnic up close.
Oh, no.
So stop looking.
I can't stop. I've never wanted to die more than I do now.
Okay, right. Jesus fucking Christ. Why would the deer do that? Okay, yeah, like you kind of have to just lean into the absurdity at this point. This is just like, let's be incredibly excessive and as gory and offensive and kind of wild as we possibly can, which that's fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just the previous few episodes had a distinctly different tone than this, so I just need to adjust. And once again, like, it does look good. Like, again, the animators are doing a hell of a job with what they've got here. Like, this shot here is like fairly basic, but then that is like slash, rawr, and the lightning bolt with like the neon lighting around the rim of the creatures. Like, yeah, that shit looks good in motion.
Let's check out someplace else.
A mall?
Oh, Lord. Where are we now? Oh, let me perish.
We're here to show you another thing life is worth living for. Childhood wonderment.
Why?
A mall Santa, though? Really?
Look at those sweet disease-ridden vermin. Their joy comes from innocence unspoiled by the burdens of adulthood and their middle-class existence. Such simple joy they have. It is inspiring.
Very much. So a lot of people in the first episode, I was sort of wondering, like, where the fuck are these children? Like, the art style that is being used for these kids, where's that from? People suggested the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, and I think absolutely, yeah, that's what I was thinking of, was the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. But apparently also Kids Next Door. I never really watched that as a kid. I don't think it was on any of the TV channels where I lived.
Adulthood and their middle-class existence. Such simple joy they have. It is inspiring. Thank you for showing me this.
Hey, dipshit! Want to see whose lap you're sitting on?
This place reeks of teenagers.
Lovers, look out, sir! We're here to remind you about possibly life's greatest joy of all.
Money.
No! Love.
I've never been in love
Yeah, no, I'm aromantic, so this doesn't work on me.
before. I imagine it's quite nice.
It's not too late, sir. You can still find...
Ha! Nice try, ugly. Hey!
Damn, she's serving. I do like the casual cross-dressing. That's nice.
Ugly. Hey, horny lovers! Which one of you would fuck this old man?
You know, you three are so utterly cruel. We're just trying to give hope to someone in need.
Oh,
The trillionaire?
and you three are so superior to us just because we want some selfish, greedy, authoritarian capitalist to keel over dead.
You're making things too real now, Moxie.
Behold, the wonder of art and music. Something always there to comfort, entertain, and live for.
So, how do we make this bad?
We can't. There's literally nothing bad about opera.
Yeah, wow,
That's fact.
Unless we ruin it somehow.
He's not very good.
Oh, you weren't supposed to kill her, were you?
Well, at least we made it bad.
That's it! I have had it! You three monsters have messed with us enough!
We're just trying to do our job.
Well, so are we.
Enough! We are saving that shitty old man's life, whether he wants it or not!
Well, someone wants that fucker dead, okay? And he paid in advance, and I spent it all on this. So he's gotta go!
Again with the
You're
horse
all
thing.
Such disgusting, loathsome beasts. Your kind is nothing but dirt that shitty dead people tread on. And now you're trying to meddle with the lives of humans?
So are you! So why don't you shut your trap, you judgmental cotton candy, tit-having bitch!
Filthy demon!
Wait, now who's singing? Nice one. Oh, are they horny now?
It's all starting to make sense now. Life is worth living because we only get one. We must cherish it. If
He's gonna
creatures
keel
far
over
beyond
from a
this
heart
living-
attack. Yeah, so again, the dialogue here is a little, you know, it's a little, I would call it sort of unedited. Frankly, like the dialogue between the characters where the Cherub people don't really seem to have much interiority beyond just, oh, this is the thing that we're doing. And that's kind of fine for, like, Villains of the Week. But then, like, the way that, like, the back and forth between the characters go, it feels less about the characters actually bouncing their own wants and needs and beliefs off each other in any reasonable way, and more like an opportunity just to simply yell at the antagonists, right? Like, just to simply yell at the villains, and call them hypocrites and stupid. Which is, like, that's not wrong. Like when they say, oh, you're interfering with human lives, how could you? Like motherfucker. Like, it's not like you're doing any better. It's accurate enough, but it feels less like characters interacting and more like they're delivering an opinion. It feels more like a rant on behalf of the writer than character dialogue. Which is, like, again, very Newgrounds, like very, very sort of early web animation, and to some extent, like it's not like that wasn't in shows like Danny Phantom or Invader Sim either, or the Powerpuff Girls for that matter. Holy shit, that show got preachy sometimes. But for me, it's not very compelling because I'm interested in the characters. I'm interested in who they are, what they want, why they want the things that they do. And so for me, this doesn't feel informative, right? Like, this doesn't feel like it informs me of anything. It's just sort of an excuse to have these characters do violence to each other. Once the violence kicks off, though... I do like that they get extremely horny from that. Like, that's nice. Like, it's like that. This is a nice little character moment for them, that both of them get the fuck off on doing lethal violence, and like the sort of the thrill and the adrenaline rush of it all. Like, that gives you some sense of, like, their connection and why they have something in common, is that they both, like, this gets them both extremely horny. And then we get in, like, this amazing little swing sequence here. Like, we get these smears building up, turning them into, like, a spinning top. And, like, a fairly complex shot with Blitz literally vanishing up there behind, like, good job hiding, buddy. That's taking effective cover. And, like, managing the angels, like, passing through, like, you can see them smearing into screen here, right? Like, passing through, managing them in the space around it to make this swing feel three-dimensional, right? Like, to make it feel like it's not just characters moving left to right, but that there is, like, a dimensionality to the way that they're spinning around, to the way that they're, like, throwing themselves through the space. Which is, like, that's genuinely very well done. That's a difficult kind of thing to animate.
It's all starting to make sense now. Life is worth living because we only get one. We must cherish it. If creatures far beyond this living world are going through these lengths over my life, then certainly it's worth living. Killing myself is not the answer. Plus, I'm still rich. I could just buy all the things.
Also, you have a youth machine, buddy. You could just, like, it worked just fine making you old. Surely it could go the other way.
I no longer crave death.
It's perfect. Yeah. the little moving the shadow. Classic Looney Tunes gag. Classic Looney Tunes gag.
Would you look at that? You did our job for us.
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my god!
Get a hold of yourself, Colin, and do not use the Lord's name in vain!
This
He said gosh, not God.
over. What the?
Yeah, no sorry, Cletus, but I'm afraid your actions resulted in the death of a human. I'm afraid you can't re-enter heaven. Yeah, no.
What?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, no.
Is there anything we can do?
Yeah, no. No.
No, because you see, hell is forever, whether you like it or not. Had your chance to behave better. Now you're boiling a pot.
Oh, no. But we didn't mean to. We never. It was all. Anyway, sorry, guys. But those are the rules. Yeah. Bye. Wait,
The old man wanted to live again, and we didn't kill him, so we failed. Thanks to those fucking cherubs, he's probably up in heaven now, so it's a shame. All our client wanted was eternal.
Right, but no, he's a trillionaire with all of the money who... Like, no, I would very much like him to be in hell, but again, maybe the show actually has some class thoughts, a little bit of class on its mind. He's finally calmed down, my cat, by the way. He's sleeping now in the uncomfortable box. Maybe the show has a little bit of class on its mind. Maybe it has a little bit of like, it's like this thing of like, oh, hey, bunch of rich people in heaven, bunch of poor people in hell. Isn't that something?
Revenge on his business partner, and now the two are forever separated, and now we gotta face the fire of fucking up.
Sir, when are you going to tell the client?
Oh, I already sent him a text, and we're in good hands because texts don't make people angry. Blitz! Lufa! We can explain everything. I was... Lyle Lipton?
I don't understand. We thought you went to heaven.
Heaven? You don't make millions in technological advances and robotics by not experimenting on the poor.
Oh, you no good, heartless son of a bitch! Thank you for reuniting me with my...
Those two sure are character designs. Oh boy. It's like, they feel very much like first passes that should have maybe gone through an editing process or 3.
Best friend.
The only question now is, what do two old genius robotic inventors do now that we're in hell?
And that's when we tie it back to the crazy factory dude guy with the big thing. Right. Are they going to be recurring characters? I would like them not to be recurring characters.
Did someone say I say inventors? Name's Wally Wackford, and I am looking for creative new people to exploit. I mean, employ.
Everyone, stop fucking up my walls! Moxie's gonna have to fix all this shit! Now chill out, Moxie. If you kiss my ass any harder, you'll go right inside me. Satan's balls! First we deal with heaven's table scraps, now this?
I guess you can say you have a holy operation here, Blitzo.
No. No. No.
I said, oh.
No, I'm serious. Get the fuck out!
Yeah, okay, alright. That's... Oh, boy. Less interesting to me, this one, than the other ones have been. Because I liked the idea of having, like, an opposing agency to Imp. That's, like, is in the business of saving lives.
We never even ask a fee.
Because good people spread the love.
And we're here for all of us.
Do the paperwork for you.
And the heavy lifting too.
Sit right back and let us bless our soul for you. Oh, we are the CHRUP.
But one thing, like, relating this back to the pilot, right? The pilot had sort of some of the same, like, what I think of as problems, like what I consider flaws and problems, which is like being this very, very rapid fire joke thing with maybe not a particularly coherent central thesis, right? Like it's a series of jokes and punchlines without a final actual punchline, right? Like that isn't really building to anything. That's just sort of, here's a bunch of wacky shit that happens and then and that's true for this episode as well, with the difference being that this episode, like, it does have a structure, right? Unlike the pilot, which, like, just kind of went away in, like, 15 cutaway gags deep without going anywhere, without progressing any of the jokes through an actual sort of narrative arc or anything. This one does do that. Like, we set up the Cherub, we set up the wacky inventor guy up front, so, like, this is the brick joke, this is the one that lands at the very end. Then he just busts in through the wall because of to say, "Hey, I'm here to deliver the plot. Well, I have a high-pitched voice because I'm wacky." Right, and his character design, geez, okay, gotta stuff that criticism. Like, so he comes along to set the plot into motion, a little bit of backstory to sort of set up the thing. And then, like, we get the conflict, which is this old, like, trillionaire motherfucker is about to die. Good. And then the Cherubs show up and decide to try and convince him not to kill himself because of... which is another thing, is, like, they kind of needed a better motivation as antagonists a little bit, I feel. Like, because, like, yeah, okay, so, like, there's someone in heaven who wants him to live, right? Like, who's like, decided to petition the Cherubs, sorry, to go to Earth, convince him not to die, do their heavenly thing, right? It's like, okay, cool. Who was that? Like, who did that and why feels like a missing piece here? Because, like, really, it would have been enough if it had just been some other rich piece of shit asshole who bought his way into heaven by spending, like, billions of dollars on charity before he died. Who's like, oh yeah, like, let's get him up here too. Like, we're having a cool pool party later. I'd like him to attend. Like anything would have been something to work from in terms of giving these characters a motivation, which is the other thing that makes them feel like they lack interiority, is that they don't have one, right? Like, we understand sort of the motivation, certainly of Moxie and Millie at this point. They get horny, they get off on this shit. And Blitzo, well, he's a, like, violent murderer with a long history of violence, and he enjoys killing people, right? Like, we sort of understand why they do what they do. These guys, why do they care so much? All the show really gives us, well, because they're angels, and then they're where, like, it would have been nice to have, like, a little bit of interiority with them, like some sense of their motivations beyond just, yeah, oh, we're here because we're angels and we're so nice, right? Because it makes them not particularly compelling antagonists, right? Because, like, the whole premise of the jokes of the show is to simply, like, they try to convince this guy to keep living by saying, oh, nature's bounty is God's greatest treasure on earth, and this or not, like, no, nature is actually brutal and grim and horrible and ugly. Yeah, what? I'm trying to decide whether he's dressed up as Husk. Because he doesn't have the wings or the top hat or but... Okay, yeah, no, furry bait. What was the point? Like, the point, like, sort of the point that the middle part of the show is all about is, like, laughing at the angels' attempt at telling this guy that there's something left to live for.
Nice try, ugly.
Which, sort of, again, the cross-dressing gag, which... I like the gag. I like that they're cross-dressing very casually, and they seem to be owning it, and like, it's that there's no conflict about it. Why is Moxie dressed like a 1980s businesswoman, though? Because, like, I kind of get Millie being dressed kind of like a horny teenager on Horny Teenager Hill kind of thing. Blitz sort of dragging it up a little bit with the extremely poofy hair. I suppose it's just Blitz, but then Moxie's like, why, this is not an office environment, dude. Like, you should look like you want to fuck or something. If it's to blend in. It's a cool gag. It's just, again, it's a gag that, like, Yeah. I wish something had been done with it. Rather than just sort of, hey, they're wearing dresses on dudes. Wow. Because that's fun, but it doesn't go anywhere.
We're just trying to give hope to someone in need.
He's not in need, again, is the thing, right? Like, why? That's the thing I'm missing is, like, why do they think he's worth saving, right? Is it because they have this naive, detached idea that everyone who lives on Earth is just a good person deep inside, and, like if you just speak to their better selves, then everyone...
Oh, and you three are...
Okay, and then everyone will, like sort of immediately come around to a sort of, like, touchy-feely, family-friendly Christian values sort of thing. Like, if you just speak to their better self, like, is that the idea? That they are just, like, painfully naive and they don't really understand humans or what makes life worth living for humans? Because why him? Like, because as he says himself as he arrives in hell, is like, oh no, yeah, like, I spend my life just exploiting the poor brutally and relentlessly, and I'm definitely going to hell when I die, obviously. So why do they care about him? Like, why do they not know that? Or why does it not matter to them? Any answer would have been good. Like, it doesn't have to be a specific answer, just that we get some idea of what it is that drives these characters to be antagonists at all. That's what I'm missing here, right? Because that would make them a lot more compelling. And then when they get angry, right, like when they drop the family-friendly cutesy mask, they drop it for a reason, right? Like there's something internally that breaks, that forces them to drop the mask. The dropping of the mask is also, again, more impactful if you have some sort of sense that they are fundamentally insincere to begin with, like that their commitment to saving human souls and like helping people is not actually driven by internal genuine goodness, but by the same kinds of selfish impulses that drive the imps, right? Like, the imps are pretty open about, no, yeah, like these two fuck a lot about, they get horny about the violence. Blitz just enjoys it, I guess. But what about these guys? Like, do they get off on being sort of revered as, oh, you're doing such good work down on Earth helping people? No, like, are they getting social clout in heaven? Are they getting some kind of, like, is it some personal ideological mission? It doesn't have to be a complicated answer, but something. I'm really missing some kind of sense of why the fuck I should be interested in these characters as antagonists at all, beyond just, haha, they're angels and they're annoying, kill them, haha. Like, that's edgy.
Humans? So are you! So why don't you shut your trap, you judgmental cotton candy tit-having bitch!
Judgmental cotton candy tit-having bitch is like, that's another thing that's kind of missing. What's with the antagonism of the imps towards them, right? Like, beyond their interfering with the job, that felt a little bit personal from Moxie. Why is she so personally angry at this one? Why does she care that much? Is it just because she's bothering her at work a little bit, or does the particular attitude of this angel trigger something in her, right? Like, which again is kind of missing. Like, the antagonism between the protagonist and antagonist is a little absent, which is where, like, the conclusion where it turns out that the angels accidentally, very much accidentally, right, kill the guy. By dropping the lighting rig, which sends the piano flying, which, like, that, again, they are the architects of their own demise, right? Like, they cause their own downfall by giving into violence, like, by giving into the same kind of ultra-violence that drives the imps. So they show themselves to be of the same nature. Okay, that's cool. Like, that we end on the idea that, no, these people are exactly the same, right? Like, their motivations are no more noble. Their soul, right? Like, their interiority is no more noble than what the imps are doing. Cool. But then that needed to be built out with just something. Like, it really didn't have to be much. It only had to be a scene at the Cherub offices where someone petitions them to go and save this guy, and then cut to the imp offices where the most annoying man in the world pays the imps to go and kill that guy. Like, just something to set up the contrast so that you can start from a point of contrast where these are opposites working against each other, and then we can end on no, actually, these, like, the imps and the angels both have extremely deleterious effects on the real world when they go down there and interfere, right? but I can see the outline of the structure of the idea of what's going on here, and then because it's the same thing with the with this scene, right?
Yeah, no, sorry, Cletus, but I'm afraid you're.
Like this scene where like all of a sudden the Cherubs get shut out of heaven because they technically helped kill a human is like, oh, okay, but that's not a comeuppance that comes from anything, right? Like that's not a comeuppance that's been set up that like where the Cherubs maybe exploited the rules of heaven or like gave a big speech about how the rules of heaven are ironclad and they're important, and like you should never like how dare you imps interfere with the real world, like don't you know that it's the duty of all celestial beings to never blah, like something or other to set up this moment where they get hoisted by their own petard because the rules say you hurt a human, now you can't be here anymore. That, again, it would have made the ending much more satisfying narratively if it related to something that had been set up at some point in the episode.
Sorry, Cletus, but I'm afraid your actions result. Sorry. Yeah. No.
Also, she's on screen for way too fucking long. Like, the gag about her, yeah, sorry, no. Like, this sort of apologetic, but also kind of gleeful about saying no, kind of shithead bureaucrat thing. That's funny, but it's not funny for quite as long as she's on screen here.
Is there anything we can do?
Yeah, no. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, no. But we didn't mean to.
Right, like, it goes on a little bit too long. It's repeated a few too many times. Which, you know. So, yeah, the combat set piece was great. Like, there's some great animation there. Like, Blitz especially has some fun, gleeful animation, like, when he's up here. Like, that little cat waggle with his ass as he's, like, thinking about how to fuck up the performance. That's quite good. I don't know that much about... the character design of the old men is, like... Like... doesn't really do much for me. As character designs, they are just kind of... he's just kind of a lump of nothing. Where, like, again, given that he's an old motherfucking capitalist, given that we're kind of doing a riff on Scrooge here, right? Like, we're kind of doing a riff on A Christmas Carol, in the sense that he's being visited by 3 spirits in the night, except it's 6 spirits, and they're from competing agencies, both of them trying to convince him in opposite directions. Like, these 3 are trying to Christmas Carol him by telling him, like, there are things worth living for, and if you change your ways, and then the imps are like, no, actually, kill yourself. Definitely kill yourself. In fact, we'll kill you for you. Like, that, if it had had a little more clarity of, like, riffing on Scrooge, or being more specifically a Scrooge, or, just being a caricature of a real-life rich person, that would have been cool, rather than being this bizarre caricature of science superheroes through a sort of vaguely 1940s Silver Age cartoon lens, but also they're the Wright brothers inventing the airplane, and they have swirly goggles because they're crazy, or what? Like, it's incoherent, right? Like, where if it had sort of stuck closer to being an actual fucked up weird adaptation of A Christmas Carol, it might have had, like, a stronger conclusion or a stronger biting satire also. Again, these are weird science dudes doing crazy cartoon science things, but they run a robotics shop, right? Like, I feel like there were real-life people you could kind of take a slight hint, like a little bit of an aim at, like caricature them maybe a little bit, and this would have had a lot more bite, rather than just being, oh, it's weird, crazy, old-timey rich people. Aha! They are from they're robber barons from the 1880s, or whatever. They're not relevant to today's world. Like, if it had a little bit less distance and a little bit more bravery of going for, no, like, let's fucking make this explicitly a Silicon Valley tech guy, right? Like, because they invented a youth machine. There are actual Silicon Valley billionaire motherfuckers right now doing shit like injecting themselves with teenage blood to stay young, right? That's a fucking Peter Thiel thing that's happening right now. There was an opportunity there to take aim at something that was a little bit more real than just this nobody of a character. Yeah. I'm not really the most impressed I've been with the show for this particular episode. Like, there was a few good gags. There was, like, a cool combat scene. but most of the characters are just, why do they look like that? And also, holy shit, they're so fucking obnoxious without really being funny, because again, they don't relate to anything. They're just like old-timey 1880s inventor types. Which, like, it's toothless. It's a little toothless. And then the fucking other inventor guy who, like, what the fuck's the deal? Why does he talk halfway like Foghorn Leghorn, and then half of the time he doesn't? I say, did someone mention, like, commit to a parody if you're gonna do that? Because, like, the final punchline, right?
Get out. No, I'm serious. Get the fuck out!
Right? That's the punchline. That's the punchline of the whole episode, is just get the fuck out, right? This is stupid. I hate you all. Get the fuck away from me. Which is like, it's one of those punchlines that's like, oh, I don't really know how to end this story, so I'm just gonna have one of the characters say, I don't want to be in this story anymore, fuck off. Which is, again, kind of weak as a conclusion. It doesn't, like, it's, as a punchline, it's not really a punchline to anything. It's not really a punchline to any of the jokes that have been set up over the course of the story. It's just, this whole thing's stupid, fuck you. Like, end of the story. Again, very, very Newgrounds, like, very sort of web animation. It absolutely captures that vibe and that mood, and I did feel nostalgic at points watching this, which made me cringe a little bit inside. Like, which is like, that's not a fault in the show that it makes me cringe, because that's something that it's reacting with something inside of me, memories of who I used to be, right? That's what cringe is. You are relating to something in a way that reminds you of a way that you don't like to think of yourself, like, or some part of you that you hoped you had left behind. It resonates with some part of you that you don't enjoy. That's what cringe is. It did make me nostalgic, like, in that sense. It did sort of play into, like, shit, this if I'd been 12, 13 discovering this on Newgrounds, it would have been the only thing I cared about, like much of grade school. Absolutely, trust, 100%. I would have thought this was the funniest shit in the world. But I have outgrown it a little bit now, which is why I'm being so curmudgeonly about it. Yeah, okay, not super impressed with this particular episode. Not their finest work. It was just a series of rather weak gags without really having a strong connection, or at the end of it, really having anything to say. Which is like, I kept thinking about, oh, does it have like an explicit class commentary going on here about, and it's like, yeah, sort of, kind of at the end, it's like, yeah, of course I went to hell, I'm a murderous rich guy, cool. Would have been fun if that was part of the show at some point, like part of the story in some way, that we explicitly engaged with the way that his presence in the world is destructive. Because that lends weight and credence to the imp's argument, right? Like, there's like, you angels are down here saving a fucking rich trillionaire? Why? Like, why do you care if we kill this guy? How is he a benefit to the world in any way, shape, or form? Like, how is it not a net benefit to the world if we remove him from the equation? That might have been an interesting challenge to the sort of self-righteousness of the angels, that they just save whoever happens to be petitioned to be saved without giving a shit about, like, the broader consequences of whose life they preserve and whose lives they don't. Because, like, that's, again, that thing about heaven is, like, if you have money, you are more likely to have access to a good education. If you have access to a good education, you're more likely to be able to live a virtuous life, whatever that means. Like, you're much less likely to be thrust into poverty, which means you're less likely to have to commit crimes in order to survive, which means you're less likely to, commit harm to other people, right? Like, there is a class element, a really strong class element to the idea of who gets to have access to salvation, who gets to have access to moral goodness, because so many of the things that we need in order to live up to the rules of moral goodness are gatekept by capitalism, which leads to this situation where people who are impoverished and oppressed and miserable and distraught and being destroyed actively by the world, their acts of resistance are, like, become considered through the lens of immorality, right? Like, if someone is homeless, living on the street, dealing with severe mental health disorders, or chronic pain, or like untreated medical conditions or like severe fucking trauma, PTSD, and they take drugs just to fucking cope with that. If they're alcoholics, people go, ugh, like fucking like you should have more moral fiber than lose yourself to a drug addiction, right? Like, oh, you should take better care of yourself. You should we have this moralizing language that comes with that, rather than looking at the person and going, yeah, no, actually, maybe we should make your material conditions better first. Like, maybe we should give you a house and a place to stay and food and medicine and water and clean clothes. And like, let's see if not you get a little bit better at that point, and then we can maybe address the medical problem of a drug addiction. Rather than, well, like it's that thing of like, don't give money to the homeless. They'll just spend it on alcohol and drugs. It's like, yeah, no, like if I was fucking homeless, I don't know that I'd be fucking clean either. Like, I think I might want a drug or two sometimes to alleviate the misery of being homeless. So, anyway, I went off on a whole thing there. Circling back to my point being, there is an interesting class element to the idea of salvation, of heaven, especially, again, this thing of, like, the way that heaven is presented, right? As this painfully, sort of disgustingly cute, clean, like, modern architecture, clean lines, everyone's so wholesome and sweet, versus the way that hell is presented, right? Which is this blighted, inner city, urban, gray, concrete-ridden hellscape, right? Like, that's the presentation of hell, both in Helluva Boss and Hazbin Hotel, and that is a class commentary there, if you care to look at it, if you care to actually examine it and make it explicit in the text of the thing that you're working with. Is like, oh, hey, if you are in hell, then you live in the inner city. And if you are in heaven, then you get to live in the suburbs, right? Or you get to live in, like, the really fancy parts of the city and the nice apartments and penthouses, right? There's a class element there that I wish the show would actually just, especially when it's dealing with, like, explicitly killing a billionaire, that feels like a missed opportunity to do something with your comedy, right? And, like, I'm not even explicitly saying they have to express a view of class that aligns with mine. Like, they can have a different one. They can have a completely opposite one. That's fine. I just wish they had one, right? Like, I just wish that there was something so that I could sit here and argue with that, or, like, engage with that in some way, rather than sit here and just kind of lament the complete lack of engagement. But yeah, it's a comedy. Like, I'm overthinking it. It's a comedy episode. It just wanted to do a bunch of dumb gags about, like, suicide, and killing people and angels being stupid. And I think that's really all it wanted to do. I don't think it wanted to do anything more than that. So, fair enough, I guess. Bye.